welcome. Yes, Dee. I am a little bit late for class. I was recording the weekly tarot and astrology reading, and then I found out that I was recording for no sound for the most part of the hour. So there's not going to be a weekly video for everyone because unfortunately this was the only opportunity I had to record it. So we're just going to cover some of that on the live stream today. It is what it is. You know what I mean? You guys know I've been trying to have that new mic. I've been trying to figure out how to work it. And it's pretty simple, but apparently it just decided to stop working about 5 minutes into the recording. So one day I'll get all that figured out. In the meantime, you know what? We're here. We're just going with it, you know. This is life. It's messy. It ain't perfect. And I had a great time doing the video, so there is that. So today we're going to talk about the full moon, and we're going to talk about the upcoming week, which is really exciting, actually. I think it's going to be a really intense few days leading up to this full moon. And then we're going to get kind of a breath of fresh air as we move into next week. So I'm excited to delve into all of that with you all today. I'm thinking, let's take a moment before we get started because I know I could use it. And I think we can all use it pretty much always, right? Just kind of connect together. Take a couple breaths. Connect in with our heart space. Connect in with each other. Just drop in, become present. It's all perfect, right? All the time. It's all perfect. We're always learning. We're always growing. We're always evolving. Welcome. Hello, Amber, Annika, Dee. Hello, Linda. Beautiful. Dee said he's burning some sage and he's got his crystal and selenite in hand. I love it. Beautiful. I love that we are accompanying you on your drive, Amber. Wonderful. All right, let's see. What are we gonna do here? We'll start with the full moon, right? Because that's coming up. That's a big, big energy. I'm gonna pull up my chart here. So we have the chart here to reference. But this is a powerful opportunity for healing. Healing, yes, in relationship. But the relationship that we're healing during this full moon, what Spirit's saying is it's going to be different for different people. It may look like an outer relationship, but remember, everything on the outside is only a reflection of the inside. All right, so for some people, there may not even be an outer manifestation. This may all be your inner relationship. Relationship with yourself, your relationship with Spirit. For some, you may have a recognition of it being all three, right? So there's a profound healing coming through here. And the biggest part of that healing, is the fact that we have Chiron in exact conjunction to the sun during this full moon. And the sun is, of course, opposing the moon as it always does during a full moon. So we have that moon at 23. We could round it to 24 degrees of Libra. And then we got the sun and Chiron at 23. We can round it to 24 degrees of Aries. We also have Eris hanging out. And Eris, as we know, is represented as, we often talk about her as the female warrior planet. She is sort of a feminine energy of Mars. Kind of if you blended Mars and Black Moon Lilith together, which is pretty intense. She definitely has a dark side. But she has there's dark and light to everything, right? And so the light side is this energy of feminine empowerment that is all about justice and equality and integrity. And these are qualities of Libra energy. So we see that there's this real push towards justice here with this full moon, towards integrity, towards understanding cause and effect, and primarily the way that we affect the world around us through our vibration, through our actions, through our choices, through our voices. There's a real powerful push with this full moon. Hello, Michael. Welcome. Being that not only do we have this opposition to Chiron and Eris, and yes, there are going to be wounds here with Chiron. There always are, right? Chiron represents our wounds, but it also represents the path to our highest healing. And it represents the wounds that become the medicine that we share with the world. Right? So in Aries, this has to do with our empowerment, has to do with courage, has to do with confidence, has to do with being willing to go first. And that's something that everybody who finds this channel, this is something that you're meant to do. You're here to go first. You are the way showers. You are the light bearers. You are the chosen, if you prefer that terminology, right? Meaning you chose to come here, to be one of the first to remember themselves and to behave accordingly in order to unlock your power and teach others to do the same. That's big stuff. That's what you came here to do. So this Aries energy is all about having the courage to go first. And with Eris there are going to be some wounds definitely brought up, particularly surrounding being left out, surrounding the energy. And I talked about this in the video that I recorded that ended up not having any sound. We went into great length discussing this energy of bullying, discussing this energy of this powerful clearing that I'm feeling for many of the collective watching this channel, surrounding this full moon and in the week that follows. This clearing of forgetting or no longer allowing what other people think of us to prevent us from putting ourselves out there. It's like releasing that energy, that fear of like, what are they going to think? What are they going to say? What are they going to do, right? Because in past versions and other alternate timelines and dimensions, they literally burned some of us at the stake, right? There are horrible things that happen to some of us for shining our light in past lifetimes. But no more. No more. Not in this lifetime. One of the worst things that's going to happen to you is, the people that come on here in the name of Jesus, right? And we love Yeshua on here, right? We know the difference between that energy and the true Christ consciousness energy. Because that's what we're all about. It's getting past that block, that fear. And so in the video that we're now kind of redoing live, there was this energy here of the different routes that we take to get to that place of no longer caring what other people think. That place of what other people think of me is none of my business. And I shared how for me and for many who follow this path, right? Many of us, this is an initiation that we go through very early in life. I experienced intense bullying as a child. I experienced literally like being ostracized for no reason from the other children. They wouldn't talk to me. They wouldn't acknowledge me. They wouldn't play with me for long periods of time. A lot of this energy of being different or being perceived as different, even though there was nothing outwardly that different about me, right? It was all just an energy. It was an energy thing. And I experienced a lot of judgment, as I grew older as well. And just a lot of craziness that really pushed me to a point where I had to decide, like, am I going to let this, like, it broke me. And once it broke me, I was able to move past it. You know what I mean? So it's that kind of energy. That's one way that we're initiated through this energy, is like, it is so extreme the judgment of others, that we have to develop a thick skin in order to survive. And we get freed from that to a certain extent early in life. I say to a certain extent because it's kind of like the ego, right? We all have an ego. Anybody who claims that they no longer have an ego in the spiritual community is full of you know what, right? It's impossible. In order to be human, to be on this planet, we have to have an ego. It's part of the deal. It's part of the density that keeps us anchored to this planet. All right. Honestly, in my opinion, until we reunite with Source, like ultimately, wherever this illusion of separation exists in any shape or form, there's an aspect of ego. That ego is the illusion of separation, right? So it's the same thing. We're always going to have an ego, but we can allow the fear-based ego to control us less and less. And this has been, we talked about this since November of last year when we had Mars and Pluto opposing each other. Mars and Pluto are going to come back into opposition as Mars moves back through the sign of Leo, because these are some of the exciting things that we have going on this upcoming week. On the 16th, we have Mercury re-entering Aries. And on the 26th, Mercury's shadow period will be complete from his retrograde. On the 18th, we have Mars re-entering Leo. And on the 3rd of May, Mars's shadow period will be complete, or post-shadows, what we're talking about here, when they return to where they began their retrograde. And on the 19th, we have the sun entering Taurus. So this is big, big energy, especially the Mars and Leo energy, because Mars has been within that retrograde for quite some time. Mars's retrograde began on the 6th of December at 6 degrees of Leo, 2024, right? He completed his retrograde on the 23rd of February, but he's just now re-entering Leo this week. And then returning to 6 degrees of Leo on the 3rd of May, which is what fully completes the retrograde. So this is a big deal. This is a big energy. And as Mars completes this retrograde and moves back through Leo, he's going to come back into that opposition with Pluto again. So we're going to be returning to some of these energies that we experienced when that first opposition came out and came to be. And when we were experiencing that, we talked about this energy as the battle of the lower will versus the higher will, right? The lower will being represented by Mars and Leo, the ego will, the higher will being represented by Pluto in Aquarius. And I believe Pluto was in Capricorn at 29 degrees of Capricorn when they first came into opposition and then shifted into 0 degrees of Aquarius. All right, so they're going to come back into that. So anywhere where you were sort of in a tug of war between your lower will and your higher will, you may see a resolution of that energy. There's a lot of resolution of energies that we're going to be experiencing over the next month or so, as we have all these planets completing their shadow periods. We also have on the 16th of April, we have Mercury. As Mercury re-enters Aries, Mercury is going to be coming into contact or conjunction with Neptune once more. Now, Mercury and Neptune had a beautiful passing of energies, passing of the torch, we said, during that Aries eclipse. During that Aries eclipse, we had Neptune at 29 degrees of Pisces. And we had Mercury retrograde at 0 degrees of Aries. Then the next day, we had Neptune move to 0 degrees of Aries and Mercury moved to 29 degrees of Pisces. So the little switcheroo there. Now they're coming back around. Mercury's coming back around, rejoining Neptune at 0 degrees of Aries. And the way that Spirit was showing this to me was that as they connect, they reconnect their energies with one another. There's this powerful unlocking of these, it's wisdom and knowledge that's becoming available to the collective as Neptune and Mercury meet on the other side of Mercury's retrograde. And I talked in the video a little bit about this energy of how there are certain of us, we did this on one of our Patreon calls, and if you want to join the Patreon call, all the information is in the description box of most of my videos, where we unlocked some wisdom that was being sort of like held hostage, if you will, through various dark technologies and things that we're not going to get into on this live stream today. But we're not the only ones who've been doing that. And we've also been talking about the Lemurian codes activating, these memories within our DNA activating, these wisdom codes unlocking. And so all of this has been returning wisdom and knowledge to the collective. And we're going to continue to see that happening. And that's what I felt Neptune conjunct Mercury retrograde, that was part of what that energy was doing as well, is it was opening up more of this wisdom and returning it to the collective. This doesn't mean that everybody in the collective is going to be remembering and gaining this wisdom necessarily, access to it. Those who are a vibrational resonance or match to that energy will have access to that energy, to those memories, to that wisdom. This is also about continuing to align our higher minds, our higher selves, and integrate more of that into the consciousness. So this is a really beautiful energy as well. And Spirit showed me how essentially this is more of that energy of our brains being rewired here. We talked about Mercury and Venus during their retrogrades, helping to build the mind-heart coherence, the balance of the heart and the mind, to balance out those energies. And Neptune conjunct Mercury here is having a similar energy, a similar rewiring type of energy. And it's wiring and downloading more of our higher self into our being, into our consciousness. And it's really assisting with the rewiring of our brains. We've been releasing a lot of old paradigms. We've been releasing a lot of outdated belief systems. And as we've been moving through this process, our brains have literally been rewiring themselves. And it was really cool. So what Spirit brought through to me, the transmission that Spirit was showing me when it comes to rewiring our brains, it was like he was showing me hiking trails. For any of my other hikers out there, when a lot of people hike a trail, the trail becomes more embedded within the earth, right? You notice because it looks like a path. It's going through the woods, but the path, the earth is more beaten down, right? Their trees don't grow there. It's a very clear path that people are walking. And as more and more people walk that path, it becomes more and more packed in, so to speak, right? These are like the pathways in your brain. The more you think certain thoughts, particularly when they are connected to emotion, because emotion plus thought is what creates and activates a pathway within your brain. As you habitually think these same thoughts with these same emotions attached to them, it's like hiking along that trail. And the trail, meaning the pathway within your brain, the circuitry in your brain gets more and more packed in. So what we're doing now when we create these new belief systems is we're creating a new path. We're creating a new trail. And it takes discipline in the beginning. Every time we start thinking the old thought, we have to recognize it. We have to immediately reroute ourselves, and it's going to happen because those old pathways are so ingrained. It's going to take a lot of conscious effort in the beginning. And we may notice that we were walking this trail over here, and then all of a sudden it seems like we landed on the old trail and we don't even know how we got there. And sometimes we start walking down that path because it's so familiar, until we recognize that we're on that same old path again. And then as soon as we recognize it comes into our awareness, we have that opportunity to shift to the other path. And the more we think the new thoughts engaged with the emotion, and this is where you tap into your heart, right, for that emotion, we continue to create these new pathways. And eventually it becomes so habitual that that new pathway becomes the new habit. That new way of seeing the world, that new way of thinking, those new belief systems. So this is what we're doing right now. And Mercury conjunct Neptune is assisting with this. Right? Just keep following along and you'll find out, Andre. Welcome, by the way. Welcome, Cats. Welcome. I think I already said hello to Michael Ploon. Great to have you all. Got GTA on here. Good to see you again. Judy, I believe we saw Judy. Or Juju VR. We'll call you VR. Because that's a whole lot of letters there. Hello, Chatifer. Welcome. All right. So that's going to be a powerful day on the 16th. I guess we're doing this first, and then we're gonna go deeper into the full moon after we kind of go over the upcoming energies here. Amber's still there. I love you. Love you, beautiful. So We're also going to, it's also notable that when Mercury enters the sign of Aries, re-enters the sign of Aries in conjunction to Neptune, it's going to be in a sextile to Pluto. Now, Pluto's at 3 degrees of Aquarius, so the sextile is not going to be exact until the 20th. Hello, Stevie. Welcome, brother. It's not going to be exact until the 20th. However, we're going to be getting that boost from Pluto as well. And this boost from Pluto is simply helping with that energy of alchemy, from alchemizing these lower states of being, and by lower states of being, what I mean is lower vibratory ways of seeing ourselves, of seeing the world and our place in it. Aries energy is all about our place in the world, right? Aries energy is not afraid to be first, as we've been saying, to take front and center stage. Mars is in Leo too, which also isn't afraid of that. So there's a lot of energy here supporting us, really stepping into our own, coming into our own as, actually, I don't want to say coming into our own. I like stepping into our own, because coming into our own makes it seem like it's kind of just something falls into our lap. Whatever's going on in your life, whatever's coming in for you, and stuff will be coming in for you if you have been showing up consistently, if you have been healing, if you've been growing, if you've been open, if you've been willing, if you've been showing up with a burning desire within your heart to be of service, to heal yourself and the world, it's coming, all right? Those shifts that are coming, that's weird. I don't know what I was going to say just there. That just totally left me. The rest I think some of it's meant to be a mystery. We're not meant to know too much. We're meant to know that it is coming, though, that it is happening. It's going to evolve. Okay, that's what it was. There we go. I love you. Thank you for bearing with me. What's coming? It's not just falling into our laps. It's because we've been doing the work. And it's going to involve us being willing to show up, us being willing to take center stage, us being willing to do what needs to be done. Right? The opportunities, the blessings, they're going to show up. They're here right now. You're in the final stages of aligning with them. And that's a lot of what this full moon that we're about to experience is about. All right? But we have to be willing to take advantage of them, to take action around them when they show up, to say yes, right? Let's see. And that energy that we were talking about, that energy of releasing the fear of criticism, releasing the fear of judgment, that was a big part of that. That being able to show up, that being able to receive, that knowing that we are worthy. And it doesn't matter whether anybody else agrees. My opinion is the only one that matters when we're talking in reference, as far as what we're talking about right now, right? Doesn't matter. My opinion is the only opinion that dictates my reality. We'll put it that way. What you think of me doesn't dictate my reality. What you think of me doesn't determine whether or not my blessings, I'm going to align with my blessings. I'm not even going to say show up, right? Because they're not showing up. They're right here. It's all about coming into alignment with them, right? What I think of me does. So that's what we need to remember. And just put all the rest of that to bed, right? Age of Aquarius. Let your freak flag fly. The other freaks that are meant to be by your side will be attracted to that. All right? When you unleash your inner weirdo, it attracts all the other weirdos that are meant to be part of your tribe. Right? Case in point here. Hello, my fellow weirdos. I love you deeply. They'll just find you. You know what I mean? Yep. And everybody else will just bounce in and out. They'll be like, this ain't for me. And that's okay. Hello, Lufa. Libra is the energy of the full moon. We're going to be talking a lot about Libra in just a minute here. Don't you worry. Yeah. Match my frequency. Exactly. I like that, Chatifer. I like that spelling too. Exactly. All right. What else do we need to know here? Oh, also for all of you who are curious, Venus's post-shadow period ends on the 16th of May, the day before my birthday. Let's see. So, yeah, Mars re-entering Leo is big. Honestly, that conjunction between Mercury and Neptune is massive. But Mars, just the simple energy of Mars re-entering Leo is huge, because we talked about this energy of the higher will versus the lower will, right? The Mars-Pluto opposition. So that's really big. That energy coming first full circle, that energy coming back around. And just that fire that gets lit. Mars has learned so much since his last encounter with Pluto. He's learned so much about who he is, what he wants, what he truly cares about. Mars in Cancer, Mars has been very uncomfortable in that sign of Cancer. All right. For quite some time now. He entered Cancer on the 14th of February. All right. And he's been there ever since, whether in retrograde or direct, but still like it's swimming through those waters. You know what I mean? Getting real emotional, getting real heavy in some senses, but learning a lot about his own reactions, actions, and reactions. Spirit actually showed me that Mars in Cancer, there was this energy of essentially like the fight or flight response being healed, being balanced out. There was this energy. So it's definitely a masculine, feminine, but it's also a healing of the adrenals, right? A healing of that stress response, that anxiety response. So Mars has learned a lot in Cancer. He's learned about who and what is worth fighting for, who and what he wants to protect, what truly matters. And now he's moving back into Leo. That fire is getting reignited. And he's ready to make some moves, right? So I'm really feeling that as a bounty for us, especially happening the day before the sun enters Taurus. There's a lot of beautiful energy there. And of course, the sun is going to enter Taurus in a light square to Pluto. That square is going to get more intense over the next few days after the sun enters Taurus. Once the sun gets to that 3 degrees, so that's probably going to be what, like the 21st, 22nd, maybe something like that. Somewhere between the 22nd, 23rd, that we're going to have the sun in that exact square to Pluto. And that's going to be a little bit intense. You know, squares always are. Yeah, absolutely. And you don't need to know much about the topic, Cats. I will explain to you everything that's relevant, you know. It's all about, it's just the planets are one way of understanding our journey, what it is that we're going through. And so with the sun and Taurus squaring Pluto, there's somewhere that we're being asked to reinvent ourselves. There's somewhere that we're being asked to step out of our comfort zone. Pluto in Aquarius wants us to make quantum leaps forward. It's interested in progress and it's not interested in taking the linear route to get there. And Taurus energy really wants to take the linear route. All right, this is becoming more clear now. So that's really where a lot of the tension is with this. It's Taurus, the sun in Taurus being like, yeah, we're gonna get there, but like, let's slow our roll. Let's take our time and let's not rush things. Let's not skip any steps. And Pluto in Aquarius is like, don't you understand? Like, we are in the time of rapidly shifting timelines. Skipping steps is kind of the name of the game. But Sun in Taurus is like, no, I've had this planned out. I've had this all planned out. We don't need to skip any steps. I know how we're going to get from A to B. We don't need to go to Z, right? A, B, C, that's how the alphabet goes. And Pluto in Aquarius is like, that's how the alphabet used to go. So there's a little bit of a juxtaposition here. There's also a little bit of a strain where we may not be wanting to give up certain comfort factors, certain ways of doing things, modes of doing things that we've become accustomed to. But all of this energy as the sun enters Taurus is really seeking to shake us loose. We also have Uranus in his final months within the sign of Taurus. Uranus entered Taurus back in, I believe it was 2018. And Uranus will be entering Gemini on the 7/7 portal, July 7th. So we've only got a little bit of time left. Uranus has been shaking Taurus up. So I feel this Taurus season, like a lot of Tauruses are going to be really receiving maybe like the changes that have been in flux since 2018 really coming full circle. And if you're not a Taurus naturally, or you don't have strong placements in the sign of Taurus, wherever that part of your chart is, there's some sort of shift or transformation that has been underway since 2018 that I really feel coming full circle this Taurus season. Yeah. Oh, Linda, that sounds amazing to me. I'm still not smoking, but that sounds good. Except for the Diet Dr. Pepper. I'm not really into soda, but I've clearly got my own things here that I'm working through. Um, oh yeah, we're just gonna take a minute out though to like just have a moment of silence to honor each other and the struggle that this past week has been. I don't know about all of you, but it's been pretty tight. I've been exhausted. All right, so that's an ascension symptom that I think has been coming through for a lot of people, just this absolute exhaustion. It hasn't mattered, you know, I mean, thank God I have an incredible partner, so I've had more ability to sleep than a lot of mothers of 2.5-year-olds typically get, because I have been just like, if I could have slept the whole week away, I would have. I don't know how you guys have been feeling. I don't know if you've been like, typically you guys have never seen me drink one of these on camera, because I usually only drink about a half of one in the morning, and that's all for the day. But this week, I've had one of these with me. I've been sipping on it all day long just to stay upright, it feels like. So there's been a lot going on. I think fatigue has been a big one. It's honestly like, maybe this might even be a chance for those who were born with masculine biology, we would say, to experience what it's like to have PMS, because I swear to God, it feels like PMS right now, but I just had it. Like, that's not where I'm at in my own personal moon cycle. I don't know about the rest of you ladies, but that's what it feels like, you know, just like, let's binge on some bad food and sleep as long as we can and try to avoid human interaction if at all possible. I don't know if you guys can relate to all of that, but if so, and if you men are feeling that too, like, welcome to the PMS cycle of womanhood right there. Like bloating, fatigue, maybe digestion stuff. I don't know. I'm trying to think of what I've had personally going on. Not so much the bloating. That's actually been better. That's usually a thing, but just the fatigue is the big one. And the everything that comes with that, you know what I mean? So like the poor decision making when it comes to like impulse control, poor impulse control. Does that make sense to anyone? Yes, moody, exactly. Mood swings, poor impulse control, just like needing to crawl to any sort of comfort, creature comfort. And we know that this is a process as we're moving through this ascension process, especially for those of us who are on this level of the journey, the way showers, the ones who go first, right? We're meant to be giving up anything that we give away our power to, you know? And so that like, we're in a period where a lot of those things are being removed, you know, the crutches, one by one. Hopefully, right? Don't try to remove too many all at once unless Spirit's doing it for you. All right. This is where that Taurus energy comes into play. Slow and steady wins the race. You know what I mean? But it's like a lot of that stuff is being removed. But some of the things that are left on that list, and maybe some of us have been moving back into things that were no longer on that list. I almost bought a pack of smokes this week, but I didn't. I didn't do it. That came the closest that I've come since I quit, though. I'll tell you what. But I remembered. See, that's the thing. I remembered, like, every time I've done that in the past, recently, over the past year or so, like, it has not, like, it's not what I think it's going to be, you know? The romanticizing of the energy is gone. I'm like, no, I'm going to choke. I'm not going to be able to breathe. I'm going to be unhappy and it's going to taste terrible. Like, that's the reality of the situation. You know what I mean? So it's like, that's growth. Right? That's an example of like what our growth process looks like, right? When we start to realize, oh, right, yeah, no, that's not the way it's going to work. It's not going to be like in a movie where I'm just like enjoying myself and the birds are singing all of a sudden and all my stress is lifted and I feel wonderful. Yeah. It's not going to be like that at all. It's going to suck. And I'm going to be like, why did I just do this? And I'm not even going to finish it probably, right? Because that's like that portion of my life is over. But it's that sort of thing, right? It's like we romanticize the things that we've moved beyond, the habits that we've moved beyond, the belief systems sometimes, right? The relationships, the energies. It's we and that's like Neptunian energy, right? We romanticize it, and then if we go back to it, we realize sometimes we have to go back to it to realize, oh wait, that's not the reality of that. Isn't what I was remembering. That's not what I was picturing in my mind. That's not the great memory that I had of like the best time I ever had with that person or that thing. You know what I mean? Because that's the one we remember, right? The best time. We conveniently forget the worst time. When you do have movie moments in life, I'm sure it's wonderful. Yeah, absolutely. And that's the 5D, right? The 5D is kind of like living in a movie. And it's beautiful. And that energy is always there, and it's always available for us to tap into. And that's the other side of this, right? Is like we've had these heavy energies, but we've also had moments where we tap into that other energy too, you know? Where we enter that frequency. We enter it through the heart, right? And it's there. It's always there. It's always accessible. You know? I find it easier to enter when it's beautiful and warm and sunny. So I'm so ready for that. But you know, that's not necessary. It's all right here. It's all around us. You know? So sometimes we just need a little bit more practice. And it feels like, metaphorically speaking, the clouds are going to lift as we're moving toward this next week. Yeah. However, let's talk about this full moon, because that's what we're coming up to this weekend. We started talking about it a little bit. Oh yeah, alone time is wonderful. So we talked about the sun conjunct Chiron, those wounds coming up, some of those wounds. And so this is where some of that healing's coming. Remember, we talked about the bullying. We talked about being ostracized. We talked about the fear of judgment and moving beyond that energy. I need to come visit you in Texas, Linda. So Eris, Chiron conjunct Eris and the sun, there's that energy right there. Those wounds. So we do have some of those wounds. We have some of those wounds around our confidence. I'm feeling for some people too, it's like trying and like times where we perceived ourselves as having failed. I'm also seeing this as times where we tried or we let ourselves shine and somebody shut us down. All of those energy, those wounds are healing and clearing. That energy is in and of itself very powerful, but it's a breakthrough. When we have Chiron conjunct the sun, it's a breakthrough, all right? This isn't where the energy is heavy and we're drowning in it, all right? This isn't Chiron conjunct Saturn, all right? This isn't, Chiron conjunct Pluto. Whew! If we get to that energy, that's gonna be one hell of a portal of energy right there. I don't know if we'll see that in our lifetime, but it's Chiron conjunct the sun. All right. So there's this beautiful illumination. There's this beautiful, it feels like a breakthrough that is long overdue is what it feels like. That release. Remember, full moons are all about release. Now, there's going to be an emphasis on relationship because remember, the moon is in Libra. All right. 23, we could round to 24 degrees of Libra here. So there's going to be an emphasis on that. There's going to be an emphasis on what we learn about ourselves through relationship. Libra represents the 7th house of partnership and marriage. But that house also represents the shadow. The descendant represents our shadow in the terms of what exists within us that we don't recognize or readily see, that we're always seeking in the other. Until we begin to recognize that what we are seeking within somebody else already exists within us. All right. So there's this energy here where relationships, our connections, what we learn from others, how we relate to others. There's a bit that is at the forefront in a lot of ways. The ways that our shadow projects onto other people. Like we want to really notice the commonalities in the relationships and the connections in our lives. What are the patterns? That's a big energy that we want to be looking for here. This also has to do with integrity. It has to do with justice. So this is a full moon that is bringing justice. It's bringing karmic closures. It's bringing wherever there was, like, I feel like decisions or energies that have been hanging in the balance. If there's been like choices that need to be made, I'm seeing the Lover's card in my head for the tarot. Those choices are becoming clear. All right, this is makeups, this is breakups, this is all of that energy. This is really being called to walk our talk as well. And this is creativity. Libra energy is very creative. All right, Libra energy, they are the artisans of the zodiac. So there's a lot of that beautiful creative energy. The moon is receiving pressure, not only from the sun and Chiron, but also here from Saturn and Jupiter and Uranus and Taurus. So Saturn and Jupiter, or not Jupiter, sorry. Saturn and Venus are conjunct in the sign of Pisces, 24, 25 degrees of Pisces. Then we have Uranus at 25 degrees of Taurus. And they are both in what's called a quincunx to the moon. They're sextile each other. So for people who are familiar with astrology, you're going to be able to guess what this aspect is that's being created here. This is the most infamous, we could say, aspect in astrology. It is known as the yod, or the finger of God. And I always joke as the finger of God, because when you have a yod in your chart, you understand it is literally like God is giving you the finger. It is an energy of destiny. It is an energy of fate that you cannot run from, right? You cannot run from destiny. You might want to, you might try to, but it ain't going to happen. All right? It is written. One way or another. This is a free will universe, but at the same time, it's like we have the free will. So I'll explain. So the yod, it's like, it's the energy where, let's forget the yod. Let's just talk about our destiny in general. You can keep running from your destiny, but because it's your destiny, it's been programmed into you at a cellular level. All right. It is held within your DNA. So when you purposely refuse your destiny, you feel it because every cell in your body is pulling you toward the path that's meant for you. And you can keep fighting it, but it's like charging upriver when the current's trying to move you down. You know, that's the analogy we always use. All right. It's going to be intensely uncomfortable. So if you are actively running from and resisting your destiny, you're going to spend your life in intense discomfort. All right. And I mean, it all depends on the person, right? But there's probably going to be some heavy substances at play here, right? You're going to have to do anything and everything you can to distract yourself and keep yourself off of your path. Or you can embrace your destiny. You can embrace your path. Embrace your soul's blueprint for this lifetime. So there's a blueprint being activated collectively with this full moon. And that is Uranus and Taurus, sextile Venus and Saturn in Pisces, all pointing their energy, their combined energy at the moon in Libra. So what does this mean? Uranus and Taurus is all about reinvention, right? Uranus energy. Uranus is the change bringer, the chaos bringer. Uranus wants to revolutionize some aspect of these Taurian energies within us. And it's going to be more specific for each of us individually when it comes to our natal charts. But collectively speaking, as an overall energy here, this is the way we view and value ourselves, money, our connection to nature, our connection to the material world. This is also the financial system. So we may see some big changes coming within the financial system around this full moon. All right. This is a lot of these energies here of revolutionizing just what is considered valuable in general within our society, within our world. All right. So there's this complete shift and shakeup on a material, tangible level. And then with Venus and Saturn here in Pisces, this is an interesting combination, right? Because Venus and Saturn tends to, generally speaking, kind of weighs Venus down, right? Kind of I guess you could say kind of dampen her allure a little bit. You know, there's more responsibility here. There's more of a focus on karma, responsibility, lessons, learning, right? However, Venus is very strong in the sign of Pisces. She is exalted in the sign of Pisces. She works very well. She's also the ruler of the moon, being the ruler of Libra. And she's kind of the ruler of Uranus in a way right now because she's the ruler of Taurus, the sign that Uranus is in. So even though Uranus would typically override her, Uranus being in Taurus gives her an edge there too. So she's got an edge over everybody who's involved in this yod. All right. With Venus and she's in, like we said, she's in the sign of Pisces. Saturn isn't super strong in the sign of Pisces. Saturn loses some of his rough exterior. He becomes a little bit softer. He becomes a little bit more malleable. You know what I mean? So this is about aligning with our highest path. This is about aligning with our soul self. This is about the soul contracts, honoring those. Very big energy of that here. We're definitely being called to do that. To honor our destiny. To notice and pay attention to where our destiny is leading us. Where are we being pulled? Remember, we talked about that pull that it activates. And this happens, all right, so, this is what's going on for some, all right? So all starseeds, all light workers, anybody who's still watching this video, all right? Whatever label you want to call yourself, you belong here. You came here with a mission, with a starseed mission. You came here with your own mission to grow and evolve. You also came here with your starseed mission. And for many people, this full moon is going to be activating that starseed mission. It's been lying dormant within you. You felt little hints that it was there, right? Like you feel like you're here for a purpose. You just don't know what it is. You feel like there's this burning need inside of you to be of service, to help humanity, to help other people. You feel, even if you won't admit it to anybody else because you might think that it's egocentric, and that's something that we'll work on, right? We'll work on shifting you out of if you want to join this channel, because that's what we do here. We grow and evolve together. You might not want to admit it to other people because maybe you think it's egocentric. It's not. It's just truth. But you've always felt as though you were meant to be a leader, as though you were meant to be a teacher or a guide for others. And like many of us, right? Like you may laugh at that because sometimes it feels like I'm speaking for myself right here right now. You know, sometimes it feels like you couldn't guide yourself out of a paper bag, but somehow you know that you are here to guide others. You know, that's for a lot of us where that star seed mission has been at. It's just that vague knowledge that it's there. Even though you can't pin it down, you don't know how you're supposed to go about it. The joke is you've been going about it this whole time. Every experience you've had, everything you've learned, all the wisdom that you've gained, all the energy that you've alchemized, that has been preparing you. And now for many people with this full moon, that starseed mission is going to activate. As in your very DNA, the cells within your body that hold the memory of that mission are activating. They're turning on. And with that, the path that is going to allow you to be of service to humanity is going to begin illuminating itself. Your only responsibility is to walk it. That's it. Like Spirit's saying, the only way to avoid this because, you know, I know there's a lot of people on here who overthink things, right? I would attract those types of people. I'm a Virgo moon. I attract a lot of Virgos, a lot of thinkers, right? Very intellectual. I understand that I bear that cross as well. You know what I mean? Spirit's saying there's no way to F this up, basically, except to cling to the past and to quite literally, like, you know, the extreme version of running from your destiny that we just talked about? That's the only way. Otherwise, you can't mess it up. All you got to do is just show up. And not go out of your way to try to avoid it, all right? As long as you don't go out of the way to try to avoid your destiny, it's calling, it's guiding you. Your higher self is guiding you right now, right? You would have to try really, really hard to not align with the path of your Dharma moving forward here. I would go out on a limb as far as to say it would be virtually impossible. All right, so just keep showing up. Stay in your heart as often, as much as you can. Notice where you're being guided. And just have the courage to walk that path. Because it will require courage. It's going to push you outside of your comfort zone. Uranus and Taurus. That's okay. It was designed that way. And guess who designed it? You. You designed it. So you knew that you were going to be able to accomplish what you set out here to accomplish because you are the one that designed every aspect of the scenario. All right? You got this. So how, and hello, Dark Bunny, by the way. How amazing is that? What a powerful moon. We've got Mars here. Mars is squaring the moon and the sun. So we got a T-square, loose T-square. Mars is at 27 degrees of Cancer. So a few degrees away. Just adding some extra pressure. But remember what we talked about with Mars. Mars is completing his retrograde, or has already completed his retrograde. But he's completing his shadow period right now. He'll be re-entering Leo this coming week after the full moon on the 16th. I was going to check, but I know. I was going to double check myself. It's the 16th. No, Mercury's the 16th. It's the 18th. On the 18th. All right, there we go. So he's learned a lot. He's still swimming in those Cancer energies. He is still reactive to an extent, right? We're rewiring the nervous system. He's rewiring his fight or flight response, all of that. He still might be feeling a little bit antsy, right? So there's definitely a recipe here for explosion. There's definitely a recipe, especially in the less awakened aspects of the collective, for some serious drama to unfold. So we want to be aware of that. We want to keep ourselves as far out of the drama as we can. Because it is a full moon in Libra and there is an emphasis also on relationship here. Some of it might be unavoidable. But whatever drama it is that we are being dragged into, just know and understand that that is our consciousness helping us to confront or realize something within ourselves, either a pattern within ourselves or perhaps how much we have grown, right? If we have an opportunity to, what's the word I want to use here? To approach a situation from a different perspective, to act and react differently when we have a certain situation present itself, right? To employ the wisdom that we have gained and to really see that energy in action, right? To be able to appreciate how much we've grown. And if we get sucked into the drama and we behave in ways that we wish we hadn't, that's okay. We learn from that too. And we keep moving forward. All right, is there anything else we want to talk about here with this full moon? I feel like that was the biggest thing. The starseed mission activating, that was huge. Or that is huge. This balance, right? We're always working on a balance when we have the Libra Aries axis. This is a balance of the self and others. How do we balance our needs with the needs of others? And with all of this healing with the Chiron and Aries and everything, I'm definitely feeling that energy of put your own oxygen mask on first, right? They always talk about that when you're in an airplane. If the plane starts going down, put your mask on first, because you can't help other people if you're not adequately cared for, right? So there's a big emphasis on that. That's another way where this energy of being first, putting yourself first, is coming through here. Venus, did we talk about this? We've been talking a lot about Venus, right? Did we mention that she stations direct during the full moon? I'm not sure if we did, actually. I think we might have glossed over that. So that's a big aspect of this moon as well. She's obviously also, we talked about it when we were talking about the Yod there, the ruler of the moon, being the ruler of Libra. So, yeah. So that would be what we're talking about right now, Cat's Tongue, the pink moon. Right? Because Saturday is the 12th, I think, right? What's today? Somebody tell me what date it is today, because I'm not sure. Everything blends together for me. I'm fairly certain that today is the 11th, right? Yeah, yeah, yeah. The pink moon. That's what we're talking about. The pink moon, otherwise known as the full moon in Libra. Oh, Ty, welcome. Yeah. Yep. So the 12th, 13th, depending on where you're located in the world, Saturday, Sunday, depending on where you are. Yeah, so Venus stationing direct. So also another big energy with this full moon is Venus's journey of self-discovery as she's moved through her own retrograde process. And so Venus's retrograde took her from Aries. She began at 10 degrees of Aries, took her back into Pisces. Now I believe she's at 24 degrees of Pisces during this full moon, yes. So she's completing her retrograde conjunct Saturn. So this is a major closeout in the sign of Pisces. This is closing out major cycles. So another big theme of this full moon is this energy of completing karmic cycles, connected to love, connected to money, connected to, and not just like romantic love, friendship love, self-love, all of these themes and energies. Really completing these cycles, completing these soul contracts, understanding these energies, because we're creating brand new templates. So this is a time of birthing brand new templates for humanity when it comes to relationships, which is really big and beautiful. So this is a big energy. I'm feeling like for twin flame energy as well, balancing the divine feminine, divine masculine, the ways that we interact. So this is not only love relationships, though. This is the way we interact in friendships, in connections, in business partnerships, in every aspect of how we connect with each other and how we connect with ourselves. So huge closures there. This real journey of self-empowerment that our feminine energy has been on throughout this Venus retrograde, moving through those fiery Leo energies, moving with Mercury retrograde. So there's been a real reinvention of ourselves. We've really been looking at different themes and energies. In Leo, Venus was looking a lot at, where do I still require validation from others? Where do I perhaps compromise myself in order to get that validation, in order to get that approval? Where do I perhaps play to the crowd a little bit too much? For some people, it's like, where am I overly available or not so unavailable, right? Like, where is it that I'm afraid to let love in? Essentially was a big theme of this energy, right? Where am I blocking love? Blocking the experience and the expression of love in my life of any kind, right? Because remember, love isn't just an emotion. Love is an organizing principle of the universe. Love is everything. When we open ourselves up to love, that goes beyond, like most of us think about that in terms of a romantic partner, right? When we open ourselves up to love, we open ourselves up to the magic and the miraculous nature of the universe. That's what it's all about, all right? Being open to receive, being connected, being tapped into that creative force, that creative life force energy. So it's a big thing. So we've been looking at and recognizing where those blocks lie within us. Where it is that we compromise ourselves in order to get what we need. How it is that we are able and willing to show up in partnership, in connection, in any areas of our lives. We've been learning a lot about boundaries as Venus moved back into Pisces. We've been perhaps clearing out energies related to addictions, escapism. We've been really learning that balance, right? And that pendulum between victim mentality and empowerment, where it is that we perhaps still play the victim, whether this is in our relationships, whether this is when it comes to money, whether this is like the government, right? Like, where do we still find ourselves in that victim mentality and energy? And where can we take our power back within those instances? Because this is all Neptune and Aries 2025. It's all about being the conscious creators of our reality. Really stepping into that. But first we have to see where it is that we're giving our power away and why. Why are you giving your power away? Is it because it's more convenient? Is it because you don't trust yourself? Is it because you are afraid of what would happen if you actually stepped into your power? Just kind of entertain some of these questions, muse over them, see what comes through, see what comes up. Thank you for that donation, Annika. I appreciate you so much, beautiful. It's been a journey. It's been a journey for Venus. And now, as she completes her retrograde, conjunct Saturn, she's making a promise to herself. She's making a promise to not abandon herself any longer. She's making a promise to allow her heart to be open, but also to ensure that she is opening her heart to those who see the true value of what it is that she has to offer, and who also have something that they're willing to bring to the table. Yes, this is an energy of sacrifice. Virgo Pisces axis is very much about this energy. But there's different types of sacrifice. There's the sacrifice that we make out of love, and there's the sacrifice that we make out of fear. And what do I mean by that? I'm going to use Yeshua as an example. Yeshua's sacrifice in the story of the Bible, right? In the story of his crucifixion, his sacrifice was made out of love. Right? And it wasn't to like absolve humanity of their sins, whatever that means, right? The whole sinning concept is a method of control, right? But it was to bring that Christ consciousness to this planet. He was willing to accept his fate in order to do that. He was willing to accept his destiny, right? And he knew that that was part of it, but he knew that what he brought to this planet, the teachings, the wisdom, even though they were going to be twisted and used to control, there were still, like, the seed was planted. And those who were meant to recognize that seed would recognize it. And those who were meant to find the trees that those seeds grew into would find and recognize those trees that those seeds grew into. And it's so funny. I don't know the timing of all of this, but I just saw the Bodhi tree in my head, which is so funny, where Buddha sat under to gain enlightenment. But that's neither here nor there, right? That was a sacrifice made out of love. A sacrifice made out of fear is a sacrifice that's made in order to please somebody else because you're afraid of losing them. That's an example of a sacrifice made out of fear. If I don't do this for you, then you won't love me. Right? So it's understanding the sacrifices that we're making, why we're making them, and who and what is worthy of that sacrifice. So yeah, Venus is she's taking this seriously. She's making some major promises to herself here. That promise to not abandon herself is really huge here. That promise to embody love, to embody devotion. That promise with this Pisces energy to honor her higher self, to honor her soul self and that path forward. And this sextile to Uranus, this supportive energy with Uranus, really demands that she also make a promise to honor her truth and her authenticity above all else. To honor her freedom. To be free. To be sovereign and to be free, right? And with this moon, to operate always in integrity. Libra energy in its highest form operates in the principle of harm to none. The principle of the highest outcome for all involved. And when we seek the highest outcome for all involved, we may or may not get what we want. Other people may or may not get what they want, but it doesn't matter. It's not about that. Right? What it's about is what's best overall for everyone. Sometimes there's a little give, sometimes there's the give and take, right? Sometimes there's a little more give, sometimes there's a little more take. It all depends, but it's the balance. And that's what Libra energy represents, is the balance. This full moon is asking us to find a balance between all the things that we love. And it's reminding us, don't count yourself out in that equation, right? Be the thing that you love the most and know that that's not selfish. All right. Let's pull a couple cards, huh? I'm going to check the comments here for a minute too. Hello, Roy. Stellium in Pisces with a Gemini sun. Hello, beautiful. Love my Geminis. I'm a Gemini Venus and Lilith over here. Full moon time in Hawaii is 2:22 p.m. That's so funny, Dee, because when I was talking about some aspects of the full moon, particularly the Venus energy and the Venus retrograde, there were 22 people and 22 likes. So the 2222 was standing out. I've been seeing a lot of twos lately too. And I loved that because it was 22 is a number of harmony, right? Well, it's a master number. And 2 is a number of harmony, duality, and relationship. So it seemed pretty perfect. I don't think I missed too much in the comments here. A penguin in the Sahara. I love you, Plune. All right. Oh, my Chiron's in Gemini too. Yep. Thank you, Ty. Yep. That's a fun one, isn't it? Mine's in the 11th house. What house is your Chiron in, Ty? Hello, Bug Eye. All right, we're going with this deck. This deck right here. Clear. I can't believe I did that. I'm still like, I'm over the frustration of it. And I appreciate you guys for bearing with me for a minute because I could not help being frustrated. Like, I recorded the video for the weekly astrology right before doing this live stream, and it was just before I was supposed to hop on with you guys that I realized that the sound had crapped out after 4 minutes, and I was so irritated. So thank you all for bearing with me and letting me vent there. Clear. Well, oh, really? You just learned your Chiron placement. Interesting timing, huh? Interesting timing, that is. Well, check out the degree. We have Jupiter at 17 degrees of Gemini. Or during the moon. We also have Sedna at 0 degrees of Gemini. So one of those might be aspecting your Chiron. Jupiter conjunct Chiron. That's Jupiter conjunct anything is a positive energy. So that's probably a real breakthrough time with Jupiter conjunct Chiron there. Big eclipse last year was conjunct Chiron. Was conjunct your Chiron? No, it wouldn't have been because we didn't. Did we have one? It's been a couple of years since we had an eclipse in Gemini, right? Or am I wrong? I don't know these astrologers who remember like the eclipses we've had for the last 50 years. I'm like, dude, how do you retain all of that information? I retain it for as long as I need it, and then it just goes somewhere else. I mean, some might argue that I still need it, but Aries, Leo, Sag, lots of fire, huh? Chiron and Pisces. Oh, Sun conjunct Chiron for the eclipse. Oh, that is, yeah, well, the Sun's been close to Chiron probably. For which eclipse? Last year? Is that what you're saying? I can't remember back that far. Was that the big one? The April 8th eclipse that you're talking about, Ty? All right. We got the 9 of Pentacles. That came out in the other reading that I did. That, I mean, I could upload it for you guys, but there wouldn't be a whole lot to listen to for most of it. But we got the 9 of Pentacles, so I think that's interesting. This came out again. And she had a white bird in that. Interesting. This one's got, it reminds me of an owl. It was a dove in the other deck. And the 2 of Cups. So there's that love energy coming in. This feels like a lot of joy. This feels like somebody who's been through a lot and who's really become content within themselves and is receiving some sort of beneficial soul connection, some supportive soul connection here with the Two of Cups. This doesn't feel strictly love, though. This feels like any type of beneficial soul connection here. Almost like she's handing this pentacle off to the owl, and he's bringing it like a messenger. This is the things that we've manifested. Ooh, we set those intentions off to the universe. This is the energy of things being doubled or tripled as well. Tenfold is what I'm feeling. So it's like the energy, like what you give away, what you give out comes back to you tenfold. And so many of us around this time, what we've put out is going to be returning to us. And for many of us, that's going to be returning to us in the form of love or any other type of deep connection and fulfillment. Particularly, I feel like for those who've been lacking that, we've got the Magician here with the King of Swords. So this is the interesting, this is the power of creating. All right, and this is interesting. So when I was doing the other reading that I just did, in the deck, it was the Tarot of Dreams, and the Tree of Life came out. And I was guided to pull out my little Tree of Life thing here. And what I was drawn to was Hod or Hode here, which is Splendor, which is Mercury. And this was connected, it was connected to the House of Spells in the tarot here. And it was also connected to Archangel Michael. So it was really fascinating that came out. And I'm not first in the Kabbalah or the Tree of Life. It's one of those things that I've meant to explore. There's just been so many other things that have pulled my attention that I haven't delved deeply into it yet. But at least according to this version of the Tree of Life, there was a connection with the Mercury. And this is the Magician energy. And this is the energy. What came through was that your words are spells, right? That's why they call it spelling when we write out words. To use your words wisely to create. So I think it's really interesting that we have the Magician and the King of Swords coming out here. That's just really emphasizing that energy, the importance of that message coming through. Your words are spells. Your thoughts are spells. Your vibration is a spell. What words are you putting out to the universe? What thoughts are you putting out there? What spells are you putting out to the universe? Be really conscious of that right now. Because especially as we have Mercury coming back into that conjunction with Neptune on the 16th. And always, right? But particularly right now, you are creating your reality so powerfully with the words that you think and the words that you speak. We talked about, I think we talked about it earlier in this reading on here too, where we were talking about like the pathways in the brain, comparing them to the hiking trails and the rewiring of the brain. Spirit's saying, keep working on that. Keep working toward that. What came through that I don't think I mentioned also for the reading that I just did was that for some people, the energy of expecting the other shoe to drop, the energy of not trusting that things are going to be okay, of expecting people to screw you over, to betray you, that energy is something that somebody needs to work through, because there's an opportunity coming And in order for you to accept that and fully flourish within that, that mentality needs to be healed. All right, this doesn't mean don't use discernment, but it just means always expecting the worst out of everybody in every situation. That energy for somebody. There's also the fear of loss, the fear of abandonment, the fear of not having enough, the scarcity energies, right? Because even fear of abandonment is a scarcity energy, right? What does fear of abandonment say? There's not enough love, right? I'm not enough is also what the fear of abandonment says, because if you were enough, first of all, you wouldn't worry about being abandoned. Second of all, you wouldn't care if you were, because you'd be good on your own. All right. So that's underneath the fear of abandonment is that belief, I am not enough. I am not enough. I am not worthy. Under the fear of scarcity, what is the belief? I don't have enough. There is not enough. Right. So working through those, but really working on your words, noticing the habitual things that you speak, the habitual things that you think. Are they empowering or disempowering? How can we make them more empowering? We got another owl here. We also got a crow and a bat. And then we got 2 crows here. This feels like the anxiety being created by something that we can't see, by not knowing. This is the anxiety of not knowing is what I'm feeling here. And this is why we have to disengage from the mind, right? That's another message with this. And that's where Archangel Michael can come in handy as well. Ask him to assist you with that. Because when we are engaged too much with the mind, we end up in this energy. Because especially if we don't know something, right? And for a lot of us, we're going to be called down a path that's unknown. When you don't know something, your mind tries to fill in the blanks. All right? But it rarely does that with good things. So this is the energy we need to watch out for. Trying to create a storyline, trying to figure out something that we can't possibly know or figure out yet. Trying to plan for something that we can't yet plan for. All right, these are the energies that we just want to be wary of. Stop overthinking it. What I'm really working on right now is when I ask a question, right? I wait for a response from the universe. It usually comes through a little intuition. I act upon it without questioning it. And then I just let it go and I wait for the next action to reveal itself. Once I've taken the action, there's nothing more that I can do, right? Until I know what the next action is. So instead of trying to figure it out, I just wait. And when my mind tries to do the thing, right? I just reroute it and reroute it and reroute it. Unless I'm daydreaming, then I allow myself to have those fun daydreams. But like all the rest of that stuff, the trying to control, it's all an illusion anyway, right? Let's see. We'll do a crystal card. Clear. This is so funny. This is such a powerful message. I know that because the same message came out during the live stream that came out in the video I just did for you guys. Is that a literal truck or a metaphorical truck? Haha, I knew you'd like that, Michael. All right, we'll take them both. We had Citrine Abundance on the bottom of the deck that wanted an honorable mention there. And then we have Smoky Quartz, Earthlight, and Selenite, Spiritual Guidance. And then on the bottom of the deck, we have Garnet, Manifestation of Purpose. And remember, we said our path is being activated, right? Our destiny. So I love that manifestation of purpose came out. Let's see what these have to say. All right. Selenite, we came to first. I think, weren't you just talking about selenite earlier, Dee? Let's see. It says, oh, this is interesting. I feel like there's like a deeper meaning to this. It says, selenite often picks up impurities from the earth during its formation process, leading to a change from its pure white color, the most common others being gold, rust reds, and browns. And the brown ones, the desert rose, I think they call them, are really pretty, right? Selenite is the crystal of spiritual guidance. It opens us up to our friends and other frequencies and aids in the translation of what they offer to us. So it's like it picks up the impurities of the earth during its formation, but that doesn't make it less beautiful or less powerful, right? It almost makes it more so in some ways, because then it's anchoring that earth energy. So not only is it connecting us to the higher realms, but it's anchoring us with the earth as well, which I think is powerful. Let's see. Selenite is quite a mental stone, able to manifest the clearest state of mind available and hold it open to embrace the advanced concepts of spirit and the universe. This powerful effect on the mind flows over into the emotional body, allowing one to be emotionally calm and controlled and fostering love for self. Oh, and this is reminding me too, another thing that came through during the silent reading that I did before this one was that new crystals are going to be discovered soon to help assist us in the memory process. Remember, we talked about how memories were going to be awakening within the collective. And so the crystals, new crystals, and I referenced selenite when I was talking there because selenite was discovered when we were ready to upgrade our frequency, and many other crystals in the same way. And so this energy is going to continue where the crystals that are containing the code that we need and the memories that we need and are there to help unlock the memories within us, within our DNA, are going to be continuing to be discovered. So work with your crystals, play with your crystals. We are returning to a crystalline life form, right? Our DNA is recrystallizing. The crystalline blueprint is unfolding. What better companion on that journey and a sister, what better and energy to assist us, I guess. I'm having trouble with my words here, clearly. You guys know what I'm trying to say. Than crystals. If we're becoming crystalline, crystals clearly are going to be a great assister in this process. So yeah. Yes, new. That's right, Ty. That new coming in. So let's see. Selenite holds one of the most powerful activation energies on Earth. It is an activator of the higher chakras, powerfully activating the soul star and crown chakra, allowing the embrace of spiritual content with understanding. Selenite can also activate telepathic communication, past life communication, and can be of use to clean and clear the physical and energy bodies. And Spirit also wants us to note that as our life path and our destiny is activating here, our dharma is activating the path of our dharma. Gifts and abilities are going to be coming online that are going to assist us in that process. So the selenite's going to help to activate those gifts and abilities, and to help you understand more how to work with them, and to, particularly if you use the versions of selenite that have like the browns in them too, which are more anchored into the earth, they're going to help to anchor those into this physical incarnation and experience. Smoky quartz is going to help with that. We're going to get to that in a second. That's one of my power stones. I love smoky quartz. Let's see. Selenite is a powerful link to the Pleiadian star system and may in some open associated wisdom and paths of service. Paths of service that must be completed now. With turquoise, selenite may allow one to speak directly with the earth and facilitate her balance via grid work and liquid crystal direct earth dosing. Let's see. Oh, it's an anti-aging stone. If selenite has come to you today, there are beings with information that is ready and available for you on the inner plane. This information and guidance is relevant to current circumstances and situations, as well as your spiritual growth and very often your purpose on earth. It is worth noting that selenite only comes when the ability to receive the information from spirit has already been mastered. One of the best ways to get this information is to do a little automatic writing. Sit quietly with a pen in your hand, keep an open mind, and listen. Write down whatever comes. It is best not to read what you are writing and to read it later. Often yawning can help loosen the throat chakra, interesting, and facilitate the entire process. Alternatively, Set up a meeting time with spirit on the astral plane to collect the information in the dream state. Interesting. Jade and apophyllite can help with this. Selenite is a sacred stone to the Pleiadian star system, so they may be contacting you. Selenite is also powerfully connected to cats. Don't we have a cat on here? Cat's tongue. If you have one around you, it has a message. Their principal wisdoms are in the flame of love through the heart. Sit, listen, and feel. And the affirmation for selenite is, I am the eternal voice of spirit. Now we're going to look into smoky quartz. If you're working on channeling, opening up your channeling abilities, it says selenite does its best work at the soul star chakra. It empowers at the solar plexus and facilitates channeling at the throat chakra. Placed at the base chakra, it initiates direct Pleiadian contact. In this process, the symbol for selenite can also be drawn in the palms of the hands, and this is the symbol right there. And if you are wanting to surrender your fears to spirit, place black coral on the lower left side of your chest, selenite on the crown chakra, and lapis lazuli on the right side of the chest. And you can substitute clear quartz for any of these. Just program it. Set the intention that it take on the qualities of the core of the crystal that you do not have, that you are desiring. Cats are awesome. Oh, I love that, Linda. I actually have a cat fan base. I don't know if everybody on here knows that. Cats love this channel. I have quite a few of our tribe members over the years have told me that their cats love watching me, and that as soon as they hear my voice, their cats come running and sit right in front of the TV or the laptop or whatever device they're watching the videos on. So I think that that's absolutely fantastic. One of our tribe members a couple of years ago sent me pictures of her cat watching my videos. It just makes me so happy. I love cats too. I have allergies, so I don't have any cats currently, which is very sad. But one day, perhaps, I'll add it to the list of all the different things that I'm doing, and eventually, maybe, we'll address the cat allergies. There's a lot of other stuff higher up on the list right now, but we're powerful self-healers. We can do anything. So one day, I plan to have cats again. She is with you right now. I love that. Hello, what's her name? I felt her. Sekhmet power. Oh yeah, I've got Sekhmet right behind me too. Lily, hello, Lily, beautiful. Go that way. Not Sekhmet. I have my boss right here, but I met Sekhmet when I went to Egypt. And I'll tell you what, her, the statue of Sekhmet was powerful. Everybody who walked in her statue is kept, fell to their knees. It was, I have never felt energy like that in my lifetime. She is fierce. Her energy felt like steel, like liquid steel is the only way I can describe it. Like the will, the fierceness, and the strength of will. She is a force. She is a force. I actually didn't buy a statue of her when I was in Egypt because I didn't think there was anything that could even come close to comparing to the energy that I felt from her. I felt like any of those, the remakes of her image could not do her justice. Yeah. And I kind of wish I had taken pictures. A bunch of other people on the trip did, because we were allowed to. But I felt like I didn't even feel, I don't even know if worthy is the word, but I didn't feel right about even taking her photograph, the statue. I was just like, Oh, she's here now. She's here. She's sending an energy transmission for anyone who wishes to receive it. And she just reminded me when we were talking that her energy lives within all of us. Her energy is an aspect of the one consciousness. It's a power. It's power, right? Her energy is power, and that power resides within each of us, and we can access it anytime we wish. We can access it through her, through calling out to her, but it's our power. And all we have to do is remember her, or remember that. Remember that power. And it's ours to wield. It's ours to work with. All the gods and goddesses are aspects of us, right? Aspects of the one. Your power is my power. My power is your power. Wield it well. Whew. All right. Well, that was unexpected. Now that we've covered that, I think it's time to move on to smoky quartz. Whew. Actually, no, we're being guided to read all of these in case anyone wants to try these healing trinities for selenite. So we also have the channeling trinity, which increases, activates, and balances all the needed pathways for spirit communication. And that is selenite on the crown, angelite on the third eye, and turquoise on the throat. Always place yourself inside your Merkaba, set powerful intentions that you are connecting with benevolence when channeling or doing any of these things, right? And the light quotient expansion trinity. Bloodstone on the lower left side of the chest, selenite on the heart, and clear calcite on the lower right side of the chest. Light is drawn into the body at the heart and expanded through the entire self. All right. Now, smoky quartz. Earth light. Let's see. You are, and thus I am. Allow your newfound ways of light to ride the current of Earth's sacred pulse to your true home. The warm fires of spirit await you, burning bright even in your absence. Feel their warmth in your heart and offer it to the waiting world. For some reason, I wanted to. I'm actually going to read the whole quote here. It says, all is a loving expression of the divine. Only perception and judgment can taint this fact. Have trust and I will lead by example, for my radiant light is hidden just as yours. Let fear fall away. Take my hand through the light-filled state of physicality and know there are no wrongs and rights, only love. No matter the bonds of physicality, the spirit will soar with or without your intent. Let me anchor self-trust and walk you to the cliff of times past, where you can willingly spread your wings. You will soar, and God will walk the earth once more in your personal completion of physicality. You are, and thus I am. Allow your newfound ways of light to ride the current of Earth's sacred pulse to your true home. The warm fires of spirit await you, burning bright even in your absence. Feel their warmth in your heart and offer it to the waiting world. How beautiful. Let's see. Smoky quartz is quartz crystal that has encountered radiation naturally in the earth. This has allowed it to darken and become a smoky gray to black color. Nice pieces hold all the transparency and structure we expect of clear quartz, but its properties vary significantly, mainly due to its color and immense light-holding ability. Smoky quartz holds great light and retains the most profound frequency of all the darker minerals on the planet, earning it the simple purpose of earth light in healing. Tied to this are many of the lessons it holds for us, leading by example. It shows us that even the most mundane physical activities and manifestations hold purpose, and through their embrace and interaction, a chance for growth. The ungrounded, insecure, depressed, tired of life, fearful of change and failure symptom. Picture that smoky quartz aids is unfortunately quite common in our world. Thus, it is not surprising that most crystal shops have an abundance of pieces. The darker it is, the more light it holds. Ooh, I like that. With smoky quartz at our side, we have a constant reminder of the divinity that lives in physicality and the blinding light that we ourselves represent in the universe. Confidence in this is at the heart of the stone's work. It encourages us to let go of our past and continue our journey forward, focused, with a thirst for life and the changes that it offers, without getting pulled off course by the smaller complexities. Hello, Kiana. Smoky quartz, with its ability to ground the spirit and all of its characteristics into lower physical chakras, creates an acceptance of others, helping one to find the path of equality, balance, and unity. This dissolves the need to compete and judge, leading to a peaceful, calm, and present person that eventually chooses a path of service. In old Atlantis, the high priestesses of smoky quartz were among the most powerful healers, holding a mastery over physicality that few other positions offered. Their healing ability with animals and plants was unequaled, and many revered people involved in shamanic practice and healing today are reincarnations of those beings. Smoky quartz was one of the most important stones worked with in the creation of Osiris towards the fall of Atlantis, and thus a sacred stone of his, linking one powerfully to his energy and principles. Don't go to Egypt without smoky quartz. Ailments of the sacral and pelvic areas of the body are relieved by this stone. It can help balance bodily fluids and aid in the process of removal of excess radiation from the body after treatments. Interesting. And my little baby here definitely went with me when I went to Egypt. So I think that's funny that it said don't go to Egypt without it. If smoky quartz has come to you today, she is here to help with emotional healing and the redefinition of your physical space. She has come to aid you on an already active journey deep into the physical self to find the light that gives you life. Once recognized, you will shine that fire into the darkest areas of self. In smoky quartz's embrace, the lighter or the darker, the more physical, the better. To her, darkness is a measure of light content. Let me reread that. Sorry, I got that chopped all up. Once recognized, you will shine that fire into the darkest areas of self. In smoky quartz's embrace, the darker and more physical, the better. To her, darkness is a measure of light content. Light that you can reclaim and use as fuel toward the goals and the happiness that you have chosen for yourself. So smoky quartz is a stone of alchemy, right? In the sacred embrace that is around you today, offer up all your darkest, most difficult, and pain-filled aspects. Leave no stone unturned. Let go and be free, no pun intended, right? Leave no stone unturned. Never again will you see physicality as separate from spirit, for it is the space of the supreme realization of the united oneness. When an aspect of your physical world weighs heavily upon you, see a rose, perfect, gentle, and delicate, for it shares the same origin and source of life. If you allow this, your life can become a glorious artwork, paving the united path to the supreme oneness with peace, love, and joy. And I love this. I definitely feel that this full moon in Libra, being that Libra is the sign of the artisan, is also about making our life a work of art. So I really love that energy as well. And I love this energy of working with the smoky quartz to transmute and alchemize energies during the full moon. The affirmation for smoky quartz is my physical world is filled with light. And it can go on any of the chakras, anchoring the spirit into them and offering its wisdom to the issues of that area of life. Ooh, and I like this. The uniting the Isis and Osiris templates, which are the masculine and feminine sides, which places one in the active octahedron of light, involves in a lying position, smoky quartz on the right hand, Larimar on the left hand, and a Herkimer diamond on the heart chakra. You then visualize a white pyramid above the head with its point up and a green pyramid below the feet pointing down. The two are slowly brought together, joining bases at the heart to form an octahedron or diamond that will spin and remain around the body for 7 days, facilitating spiritual and Davic communication. Ooh, that's interesting, isn't it? And then garnet real quick. Right there. Let's see. The affirmation is, I manifest my purpose with love as my guide. I love that, right? Let's see. It is the keystone of Manu Ala Gobi, Lord of the first ray of creation. It demonstrates and carries forth the pure vitality and power of the red frequency in all its actions. It's a simple healing directive with humanity, is the manifestation of purpose, a path that activates by unblocking creativity and channeling it through the heart and emotional body, bringing inspiration, devotion, and imagination. Garnet has the ability to carry all creative energies found in the lower chakras up to the heart, where their actions are stabilized via love and magnified on their journey into physicality. Boom. And that physicality, of course, also connecting with the smoky quartz. It is via the same path that Garnet is able to activate the survival instincts, magnify courage, and instill commitment to purpose. All really powerful when we're working with these Aries energies this year, right? Yes, we talk about the pyramids a lot. I was almost visioning the Merkaba when they were talking about that, but they had them stop in like a diamond shape, which I like too. I feel like you could work it either way. Let's see. Garnet has been known to increase sexual appetite. It's a master stone of the tantric practices, alongside stones crocite and carnelian. However, its closest friend would have to be moonstone, which is interesting because I mentioned moonstone in the last video. Who in magical practice represents the feminine component, where garnet represents the masculine. This is most commonly put into practice when a garnet is worn on the middle finger of the dominant or power hand, and moonstone is worn on the middle finger of the receiving hand in magical work. Interesting. This has the effect of polarizing the body and facilitating manifestation into the physical. An ancient Atlantean practice, still practiced today. In ancient Atlantis, priests and priestesses of these two crystals would visit young children in the 10th city on Kaipon to determine their gifts and help in choosing of life direction. A child would simply stand between a priest and priestess, the masculine and feminine, and recognize the principal crystal that defined their path back to oneness. Garnet is a governing stone of the 1111 gateway and the second initiation on the path to ascension. It is a contact stone for the ascended masters El Moria, Sanat Kumara, and Ala Gobi, and will allow contact with the divine being known only as the Lady of the Sun. Let's see, at a more physical level, garnet is a potent blood purifier that aids in the function of the heart and the lungs, and a powerful healer of infertility, sterility, and frigidity. Let's see. The energy of this stone gives purpose to all things and has not come into your life to correct, turn around, or heal your current surroundings, but simply to deliver the purpose behind them. Ooh, so showing you the purpose and the meaning behind your creations. In life, we are all undertaking tasks that at the same time seem perfect. Then as time progresses, we learn and realize they may not be for us and should be released. Garnet is letting you know that there is a reason behind all your choices, and soon it will be known. However, no matter how tough the path, never surrender until you know why you began the journey. Ooh, I like this. For you to turn your back too early, there is a great possibility that you will just recreate the same picture with different paints. So, looking around at your reality, accepting your reality, understanding why you created it, internalizing those lessons so that you can then move forward. That's powerful. Garnet asks us to filter all that we will do through our hearts, as it is there that the voice of truth echoes in the soul's halls of purpose and manifests our path in the world. Listen to your heart speak, for between the worlds is hidden the glory of the universe. Garnet especially applies to creativity, sexuality, relationships, work, diet, children, and other sacral and base chakra activities. So we could look at it as applying to both 5th house and 1st house energies as well, Aries and Leo, right? Let's see. You're about to understand your life at a deeper level. Meditate and find space to see all that you are. And once again, key words. I manifest my purpose with love as my guide. Hello, Jay. Welcome. All right. So there you have it. The energy is the guidance for the week ahead, as well as the full moon, all in one glorious live stream today. Clear. I love you all so much. I forgot to announce at the beginning of the live stream as well that I have confirmed that we will be doing a meet and greet in Sedona for the 9/9 energies. There will be spots available for those who wish to have an Airbnb together and do a retreat with some fun energy activations and different activities in the evening times. And we will be all meeting up together to explore Sedona and receive some beautiful healing activations from nature, to receive activations and to bring activations to her beautiful lands. So mark your calendars, everybody. There's going to be an option for everybody who is able to travel, whether it's simply meeting together for meet and greets during the day and hiking together, or staying together in the Airbnb for the retreat experience. I really look forward to sharing more details with you as it all comes together. It is going to be the 8th through the 13th, or the 8th through the 12th rather, of September. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to us all having the opportunity to connect in those beautiful spiritual lands. And this is the first of many and many different types of retreats probably as well. So this one is going to be focused around the September, the 9/9 energies. This is a 9-year, so the 999 portal. So we're going to be working with these energies of endings and beginnings, what we're releasing and what we are creating, what we are bringing into manifested form. Everything that we do is going to be surrounding those energies and those intentions. It's going to be really, really powerful. I'm looking forward to meeting as many of you as are called to join. And I will be giving you more information about that, as well as opening up booking for those of you who are looking to explore the retreat option and connect at that level, as well as, of course, the meetup. So I'll have more of those details as they come, but I wanted to announce that because I am so excited, and Sedona is amazing. It's so beautiful. I cannot wait to go back. I am so excited. And to be able to go back and experience it with some of you is like the greatest gift I could possibly imagine. So very much looking forward to that and continuing to share on that moving forward. And yeah, I hope you all have a beautiful week, a beautiful full moon. I'll be here supporting you all in one way or another as we move through these energies. As we said, because the video was a dud, the weekly recap of the energies, this was it. I essentially, like, that was just like a rehearsal. Because as I mentioned a couple times during the live stream today, the video ended up having no sound. So that won't be coming up on Sunday or Monday. But we will have, of course, a live stream again on Wednesday, I believe. Let me check my calendar. I don't think this is the week that it needs to be rescheduled for. No, it doesn't actually. No, it'll be. Right. Never mind. Thinking out loud. Trying to do the muggle linear thinking thing. Yeah, it does, Ty. It would be awesome. I would love for you to come, or for any and everyone to come. And for people who are not going to be doing the, there should be, I'm pretty sure it's going to be about roughly 10-ish, 10 or 11 spots in the B&B. If you're not doing that, I mean, there's lots of other options, either in Sedona or around Sedona, for people to come together and connect. I'll be doing everything I can to facilitate everyone connecting with each other and figuring out other types of lodging situations situations if you're not going to be doing the retreat. We're going to do some magical things though. Some group aura regressions. We're going to do some ceremonies and intention setting and different things like that. So it'll be worth it. It'll be really fun for those who choose the more intimate experience of the B&B. But regardless, there's going to be just a lot of openings and opportunities for people to show up and connect in whatever way you're feeling called to do so. I'm still deciding. I'm feeling drawn to the birthing caves as one of the places for people who are familiar with Sedona. Definitely Cathedral Rock and Boynton Canyon. And then probably Bell Rock. I had a really powerful experience with Bell Rock. But there may be some other places that open themselves up that want to be explored as well. There's so many places there. There's so much to do, honestly. Like we could do 10 years of retreats there and not explore all the hiking and all of the natural wonders that are there. With the 999 energy, so And actually, so my friend Tommy is really smart when it comes to numerology. He discovered that all of the energies of all of the every day breaks down to the number 9 in the month of September. So in a way, it's actually a 9999 that we're going to be experiencing in September, 99. So it's like a quadruple 9. So there's a lot of that energy. So I think the birthing caves is going to be really powerful because it's like there's an ending and a rebirthing happening. I would love to come to Holland. The eventually the goal is to be doing these retreats all over the world. So definitely that is, everything is a possibility moving forward. This is simply the beginning of the process. Yeah, absolutely. Tommy's he's on point with all of that stuff. So he figures out some, I think he's actually might have been the first person to figure out that there are certain months, sometimes 2 months in every year where every single day breaks down to the number of the month. Right. So for instance, for September, it breaks down to a 9, right? September being a 9 month, and it's a 9 year as well. So that's what makes it, the 9 energy is so exciting. Yeah. Oh, we'll be going to Hawaii. Don't you worry, Dee. That is pretty soon on the list there. Absolutely. You don't have to worry about that one. And I look forward to meeting you when we do. Okay. Yes. Dee says traveling is so energizing and flexes your happiness muscle. It really, truly does. It really, truly does. Spirit's saying something right now about an abundance activation too. So maybe we'll be doing something surrounding that. Yeah. More will be revealed. Oh, flying's a little bit scary the first time, but once you get used to it, it's clear. It's not that scary. I mean, I say that it's not something that I had a fear of. If it were, I mean, that's so. I think about some of the things that I have true fear around or phobias around. If somebody says, "Oh, that's not that scary," yeah, it's not that scary to you, you know. So I say that with a grain of salt. Clear. Statistically speaking, flying is safer than driving, but I mean that doesn't necessarily change anything when you are up in the air. You know what I mean? It can definitely be an intimidating experience. Honestly, though, like airports are my happy place. I say that all the time. People think it's so funny, but it's true. Like, because when I'm in an airport, I know that I'm about to go somewhere and have an adventure. So it's like my idea. Like, I don't know. It's my happy place. When people say like, find your happy place in meditation and stuff like that. Oh, Linda, maybe you can. Oh, thank you, Nick. All right. Yes, you will. Absolutely, Kiana. Set the intention. Anyone who's wanting to come to Sedona but isn't sure how they're going to make it happen, set the intention for Spirit to show you the way. All right. And ask for signs. Ask for signs, synchronicities, and guidance. 144. I think the number 144 is going to be incorporated, so that might be a sign. 144. I'm seeing 1111, 111, 999. 8s, maybe 8s. You'll know what number. Set a number. Play a game with Spirit. Say, show me the signs if this is meant for me, and show me the way. Most importantly, show me the way, and so it is. My ears just did a thing for somebody. There was some sort of confirmation energetically for somebody right there. All right. I love you all so much. I love you all so much, and I will speak to you soon. Have a beautiful day, beautiful full moon. I'll see you next Wednesday. Bye.